Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks. It's a beautiful day for an unboxing, isn't it? And we are visited again today from Kospet. Now, what would you do if you were the company that made the world's best Android smartwatch phone, but nobody was buying it? Well, a few people, but I mean, who needs 3 gigabytes of RAM and 32 gigabytes of memory in a watch? Well, if you're that company, you'd probably reinvent the exact same watch with maybe 1 gigabyte of RAM, which is all you really need, and maybe 16 gigabytes of memory, not 32, and make it affordable? Well, that's what we're looking at right here. Let's talk about this. Here's the listing for the original 3 gig plus 32 gig Kospet HOPE, available from Banggood. We've reviewed this already. Check the show notes down below for a buying link on this one and the new one. When you look at the specs, the stuff that's highlighted in red on this is that we're running Android 7.1.1 with the Y-Watch 2, and here you go, 3 and 32 gigabytes. Now, I've also got this printout for the Kospet Lite, they call it. And wouldn't you know that my printer runs out of ink, so it's a little bit light? I love it when it all comes together. Did you check the price? I mean, this is just a retail price, and we're going to try to get you discounts. But you could save a bundle by just having a little bit less memory inside this one. 1 plus 16. They both have 8 megapixel cameras. They both have everything else. Looks pretty much the same. Here's the overall specs. Again, Android 7.1.1 using the Y-Watch 2. And there you go, 1 and 16. Now, the whole spec sheet reads exactly the same between the two. And there's one more little goodie that you're starting to see show up when you buy the Kospet HOPE. And that's this special magnetic charging and data cable, which you can buy separately. It's in pre-order now, but if you didn't get one with your HOPE, you can pick one up, again from Banggood, just by ordering it. And we're about to see whether or not the less expensive Kospet Lite comes with that wire. I mean, we got to have something to talk about in the video, right? Otherwise, the two watches are absolutely identical. So we go through the unboxing, and we take this apart, and we have a box, and I don't think so. It feels like there's not much in here. Just the basic charging. Oh, no, it's just the charging cable. Now, they're two different things, okay? You remember, right? Come on off of here. There's a charging cable that is external, that is just 2 pins, and that's this one, and it's magnetic, and it connects to the back, and I always get it backwards, and it's just for charging. Now, most Android watches have 4 pins there, and you're able to do data with the inner 2 pins and charging with the outer 2. This is only 2. Inside here is where you hook up that special cable we're talking about. And that cable now comes packaged with the Kospet HOPE. The Kospet Lite, as you can see in the box, it's not there. So additionally, in having lower memory, you don't have the cable. So I highly encourage you, if you buy the Lite, to get the cable along with it, an extra $5, okay? There's the Kospet Lite manual. I'm going to page through this so you can read it, just in case you see something different that's in this watch or out of this watch and different from the HOPE. Please flag it for us and let us know in the show notes, because everything I've seen between the two is they are absolutely identical except for the difference in the memory. And here's how to connect to the smartphone, your basic QR code scanning. Here's the other side. This is all an English manual, it looks like, talking about, I guess, the app and some more hookup, what the screens look like, changing the watch faces. Yes, you can put custom watch faces on both of them. We're going to see that here in just a moment. It does come with a screen protector. Appears to be plastic, not glass. And that's everything in the box. Now, while I turn this on to fire it up, we are going to grab the Kospet HOPE to take a look at this thing. Brand spanking new. Whoa, there goes the whole cover. with the always time display. So when it's turned off, if you have that mode on, you're going to get an ambient time display. If you touch it or move it or whatever, wake it up, you're going to get the actual display. We've got leather bands. That one's booting up. We've got the 2-pin connector, the SIM card cover, and the heart rate monitor. Camera, 2 buttons. Identical. 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 In fact, if I have this off of here and I mix these two up like that, which one's which? Huh? Which one's which? I honestly don't know because I didn't keep track of which one I was moving where. The only way we're going to tell is if we come over here, he says, down to settings, and we go all the way down. I mean, there's a couple of ways we can tell, but one of them is to go into About the Watch and look down here at RAM, 32 gig, right? Or ROM rather, and 3 gigabytes of RAM, meaning that this is the Kospet HOPE. Did we see the name go by? Oh, it's probably up at the top. Well, there's all the memory information. And this one, when we go into settings, pay attention because this is the only thing different you're seeing in here. All the way down to About This Watch. Come down here, brand Kospet. There it is, HOPE LITE. And it's 1 gigabyte 16. And that is the difference between the two. When you look at the build numbers and the kernel numbers and all of that, that's what's in each of these. And of course, you're going to want to, once you're on Wi-Fi, set it all up and come back up here and do the wireless update check. And then update it, of course, if you need to. 8 megabits cameras. Everything is the same. So the only thing I can do at this point, if you have not seen the video on the review of the Kospet HOPE, is to tell you that that video applies to this watch exactly, again, with the exception of the memory. So let's just attach that video on here, and you can watch the whole video on this. If you've already seen it, we're just about done. But if you haven't, then this is a good time to take a look at it. But before we go there, the only thing different we could see is if we get a different benchmark result when we run the AnTuTu report on the Kospet LITE compared to the Kospet HOPE, right? So we're going to hit test. We're going to let it go through and allow the permissions for this thing. And turn on permissions. Don't you just love the newer versions of Android where you have to go through all of this stuff before you can even launch an app? All right, here we go. You've seen this all before. I'm not going to waste your time. Let's just skip ahead to the final number. There you go. 30,197 is your total AnTuTu score on the Kospet HOPE LITE. HOPE LITE. I took the bands off of the Kospet HOPE, and we're running the AnTuTu report on there. I also have taken off the SIM cover so you can see inside. Now remember, this is a waterproof watch, but also remember there's no screw holding this on, and it's just a little snap-in thing. So the more you take it off and on, the more likelihood water might get in the watch here, and that's not good news. But this is the wire that we're talking about that comes with the HOPE and does not come with the LITE, that you definitely want to purchase if you decide to get the LITE. Get the wire. You'll be glad you did. Even if you don't use it very often, for data transfer, this is awesome. What it does is it sticks in here and snaps in place, and you really got to force it in there to get it there. Getting it out is tricky. You don't want to pull on the wire. You'll rip it. You have to get it out by pulling this direction. All right, we've got a number finally. 31.3. You get a little bit faster speed with 3 gigabytes of RAM in here and 32 gigabytes of storage as opposed to 1 gigabyte and 16. But at that level, that's practically imperceptible in what you're going to see in performance. So, if you got the money and you want to splurge, go ahead and get the Kospet HOPE. It's an awesome watch. If you want to save a few bucks and get all you need, get the Kospet LITE, Kospet HOPE LITE, but they call it Kospet LITE. Exactly the same watches, a little bit less RAM, half the memory, No wire charging, no data cable wire coming with it, but definitely the standard charging wire comes with it, and you'll be good to go. The bands are identical, they're removable. It's really, really an awesome watch. And now we've hit the sweet spot of just a little over $100. If we get a really good coupon, maybe we can get it down, but it will be falling more in price. You'll see in this video coming up that the original was about 150 some odd dollars. It's already a few dollars down from there. So the prices are falling, but you'll get a significant discount off of this one if you pick up the Lite. So on with the review of the Kospet HOPE, which is exactly the same review as you'll get if you get the Lite. Here we go. We'll press the top button and turn it on with the new Kospet logo. Kospet. Cool. All right. While it's booting up, let's strap it on lightly so you can get a feel for what it looks like on. It's a thick watch. It's got some beefiness to it, and it's a rather large body with the standard Android greeting. As you can see, we've got a bit of a flat tire around the edge, but what they've done subtly is put markings in that black area between the outside and the actual watch screen itself, and then made the bezel really bright and reflective so that it kind of helps it stand out a bit. We've got quite a few different languages. Let's run through these while we have it up before we select English. That way you know exactly which languages are supported in this new watch. Since it's so much new technology going on here, it's good that we kind of dive in and cover everything. Wow, yeah, there's quite a few different languages, huh? Interesting. All right, and then here's the ones that are right-hand justified. Wow! I don't know if I've seen a watch with this many languages. And unfortunately, a lot of them just look like squiggles to me. I'm not a global person. I really don't know too much about all of these different languages, but there's millions of people in each and every one of these countries speaking these different languages. We're going to select English United States. And as we've seen before, we go through this whole setup for your biometric information that will help when you're doing your workouts. We'll just confirm the default. And then here's the QR code you scan to get access to the Watch 2 app, which we will have a link in the show notes for that you can download directly from the Google Play Store. When you get there, you'll turn the Bluetooth on and scan this QR code with the app, and that will bind this particular watch to your phone with the Watch 2 app, and you'll be all set up and ready to go. So they put that beginning on all of these now, and that wobbly and twisting effect on all of the watch faces is now a feature of Android 7.1.1 as well. Now it's fresh out of the box. It's got the 15-second timeout, as you can see, that's set for the display. Let's walk through it quickly just to get the layout. When you scroll down, you see the full charge and Bluetooth and your SIM card if you have one in there. You see all this set up. Here's how we can play with the brightness, make it really bright, really, really, really dim, or medium. This is where we can silence it or give it sound. Here's our twist your wrist to see the time, airplane mode, cellular data, and location services. Bluetooth is on, and I'm going to go ahead and turn Wi-Fi on because one of the first things I'll be doing off camera is getting this thing on my Wi-Fi network so we can check for updates and such. You have the place where you can clean up, you have a music player, and when you're on the network, you'll be able to download your location for the weather. Those are the things across the top. To the left will be notifications pushed from your phone, your watch faces, your whole app drawer, which includes all of these stock apps, heart rate monitor and fitness, weather and camera and gallery. They all look familiar, don't they? See anything new? Not yet. Okay, basic stuff, all the basic apps. And then one more swipe gets us to the sports fitness area. And there's the different activities you can do, all the way down to rope skipping and outdoor run. They happen to be the same ones, as we said before, if you go into fitness here, that you have access to, but here you got them with little colored pictures. Outdoor run, and outdoor walk, and indoor run, and bikes, and so forth. So they're all here as well. Okay. Oh, and records if you have any. Let's get back out of here, back to the watch face and swipe up. And this is where your step count information will be, your weekly summary. And today's steps and calories burned and distance traveled will all appear down there. So that's the overall layout and a quick look at the watch faces that come with this one stock before we go a little bit deeper. They've got their own branded Kospet watch faces in here. So we'll take a moment to show them to you. And of course, we got to get into settings to do a little bit more of the setup. A lot of these are the regular analog watch faces with your biometric information, step count and such anyway. There's an interesting one. You can get the feel for the size of the actual screen versus the size of the full watch from that. Here's a digital one. And another one. And these are starting to look familiar. Okay, that's all of the stock ones. This is the one where you can make your own. And then when you're on the internet, you can hit the plus key, access the server, and download any of the watch faces there. Just remember, if you're going to mess with watch faces at all, after you do what you're going to do, before you go and select them, hit that little round arrow there to make sure it resets the directory of all of the watch faces. It'll help you out from getting stuck with a black watch face in the future that might cause some problems. All right, settings. That's an area we love to look at. In here, you've got your overall sound. And the display, you saw it, huh? You saw it, I know, I see you giggling over there. Yippee! Always time. You know what that is, right? On certain Android 7.1.1 watches that run with an Android AMOLED screen, 400 by 400 pixel screen, you can turn this puppy on, you can turn your watch face off, and you'll get this dimmed analog watch face. Now, I twisted it so the real one just came back on again. Well, it just went off. And when the main one goes off, if I hold still, it will trigger the ambient one to come on. They call it always time display as opposed to always on, because it's not really always on. It's intermittent between an ambient screen, very low power consumption, and your default screen that pops up when you twist your arm if you've got it in that mode. Now you won't do it. Okay. Let's go back into settings. We kind of skipped sound. Sound is basic sound, where you can set your levels and choose your tones, what you'd like. We've covered display and always time. We have app list style. We're doing an arc, but you can also have round. You've seen that before. It looks like this. Everything is in circles, right? And I like them in linear, so it's easier for us to go through. You have your connection. Here's where you've got Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and you can set up a Wi-Fi hotspot, and of course airplane mode, GPS, and if you have a SIM card in it, your cellular here. The USB is shaded out, and I got to remind you again, there's only 2 pins on here, not 4. So we're not going to have USB connection from this watch to a computer, so that one will not be used anymore. You're going to need to go wireless in order to make that happen. Your gestures, this is where you can raise the wrist to see the time and turn on and off the pedometer. And of course, if you turn off the pedometer, you're not going to see all of the stuff that's at the very bottom of your step count history, but you'll save on battery. Speaking of saving on battery, here's an overall power savings area, and it shows you your intelligent standby capability going and all that. Basic language and input. All this is Android 7.1.1, date and time, reset the equipment, uninstall any applications you've put in, more. And I'm going to come into more, but before I do that, I'm going to come into about this watch, because I want to tell you, you're going to find when you get this, most likely there's an app update waiting for you. check to make sure that your kernel version is at least November the 17th or newer, okay? And that's your build number. And of course, you check that by making sure you're on Wi-Fi going into wireless update. Oh, look, I've got an update waiting for me. How cool is that? Okay, before I take this update then, I want to get back here and show you more, because I was told about this, and maybe it's in the next update. When we go into more, yeah, check it out. Accounts, Google Play, storage, RAM, notifications, app settings, and data server. This is what we've seen always in Android 7.1.1. There's a new Easter egg going to pop in here when you do the firmware update. So let's do it. Let's get in here. It's already downloaded. Normally you have to check, and sometimes it'll do that in the background, and it did. So it's 100% complete, and it wants me to install it now. If you can't see that, press here and change it to a little square. And there it is. And now, see, it says install now. I'm going to tap that. Read the warning that it says. Make sure you got enough power in the watch to do it, and you're connected to the internet and all that business. And now it's going to unpack the package. It's going to reboot the watch, and it's going to install that update. And I'll be right back. Okay, we are done. Installation is complete. We are back here. Let's get back into settings. Let's go all the way down and check it out first, because I want you to make sure you got the right build number issue going on. There's our build number. There's our kernel version with the update, okay? And it's now, what is that, December 6th? Really tiny writing for me to read. Okay, yeah, it looks like December 6th is the kernel version for this one. And inside more, look at the third one down. We have a new item called Background Cleaner. When you activate this, you have the ability to turn on Battery Saver, which is going to stop all the apps from running in the background and give you longer battery life on the watch. I'm not sure if this is going to be an implementation through firmware update with all Android 7.1.1 watches, or if it's just the Kospet HOPE. But it's in here now, and it's a result of this latest update. By the way, the Pro boards, I always keep referring you over there. This little goodie and a lot of the other things that you see in these watches are a result of the efforts of the tech folks over there, responding to a lot of the problems that you guys are having to try to fix things to make these watches better for everybody. So a shout out to the Pro boards, Pablo 11, and all the gang that are participating, helping us out. That's it for settings. We've looked now through basically all of the apps. Let me tell you about camera. I think you saw it in the spec sheet. When you are in the camera mode, it's an interpolated 8 megapixel camera. There, took a picture. There, we're shooting a little video of my fingers wiggling. Now, up interpolated means that it's actually a 5 megapixel camera, and they have boosted its resolution to appear to be 8 megapixels. There's my fingers wiggling. A little bit of sound. It's not, I don't have the volume up all the way, but the sound is adequate for it. And there's the picture. I can double tap and triple tap and zoom around. I can't. Oh, I can. I can pinch and zoom. I'm so used to saying you can't pinch and zoom. Look at that. Excellent. Okay, we have pinch and zoom on this watch. That means multi-point touch, which means you can play games with it that require more than one finger if you can get in there. And when I look at the details, see, it's a 2448 by 3264 size image. And when you work all that stuff out, you'll find 8 megapixels overall is the dimensional size it's saying it is, but they're clear to tell you that it's really a 5 megapixel camera boosted up to that. That's exactly what we've seen in the lower resolution cameras. The 2 megapixel ones that they claim are 5 megapixel because they up interpolate from 2 megapixels to 5 megapixels when they display the image. It's a gimmick, it's a game, it's what everybody does, So I got to take back when I was initially saying it's an 8 megapixel camera and tell you that it's a 5 megapixel camera. All right? Up interpolated. That's it. All the rest of this is stock stuff. And I do want to show you one more thing. Just one more thing that I'm really excited about. When you get back to the watch faces. Didn't know this until I put it on the internet and I went and I hit that little plus sign that's at the very end. After all these Kospet watch faces, which I already showed you, I went in and I downloaded this. There are a whole new set of watch faces on the server. Now, are they available to you on your existing Android watch? I don't know. Check it out. They're there right now, and I'm going to show them all to you. The review's over, so if you don't want to watch faces, you can bow out right now and appreciate you being here. And I guess I should say, check the show notes and pick this up from Banggood. Hopefully have a discount coupon for you. I'll mention this again at the very end. The show notes are just below the video, and the link will take you over there. And for those of you who'd like to see some really cool new faces, look at these. Wow. Now, I haven't set the time thing to be 10:10 like it's supposed to be for proper display, so the hands are getting in the way of a little bit of it. But it's the FIFA World Cup Russia 2018. Not going to get political. I'm just showing you watch faces, okay? This is a cool one. Look how it's 3D looking in real life with the red, the blue, and the time. Wow, somebody's gone to a lot of work to put together some really interesting watch faces. If they're not available to you when you hit the plus sign and go over to the server to try to download them, and they should be right at the very, very beginning. If they're not there, well, maybe Kospet has their own server. I'm not sure. You guys tell us in the comments down below. Let us know if you've been able to download the Russia World Cup watch faces to your watch and which watch model you have, okay? Wow, these are fun. Interesting. Yeah, and if you do get it eventually, also let us know if it isn't available right away. Here's a white background one, just again to point out the bezel. We have kind of two layers. We have the shiny reflective edge. We have a little black edge that has some subdued markings in there, kind of hard to see. And then the actual 1.39 inch 400 by 400 screen is right there. Okay, I'm going to summarize while we're looking at the rest of these. The Kospet HOPE Smartwatch is an Android 7.1.1 watch supporting the always-on screen technology that gives you the ambient screen when the watch is off. It looks like this. It comes with 3 gigabytes of RAM, not 1, not 2, but 3. And it comes with 32 gigabytes of internal storage. Not 4, not 8, not 16, but 32. In a future video, I am hoping to, and that's all of them, I'm hoping to do some testing of all of this with Antutu testing and other kind of things and compare all of these 7.1.1 watches with the ambient screen capability to each other. So you can look at them, you can smell them, you can lick them, you can see how they perform, and you can make your own judgment on which one you want. But to pump this puppy out before Christmas, we're going to go ahead and post this as the first look at the new Kospet HOPE smartwatch, available for order right now from Banggood, our participating sponsor. And thank you so much for all of your help in jumping out and sending this as soon as you could. And we will see you again soon. By the way, got some more interesting reviews coming up really quickly, so keep watching. We're going to cram a bunch of them in before Christmas. If it's already after Christmas and you're watching this, well, keep watching anyway, because the ones that come right after this, I think you're going to want to see them too. Oh, one more thing. Did I mention that this watch is fully waterproof? Yes, it is. Hello, guppies. Here we go. Now we're done. Are we done? Are we done? Huh? You want some food? Okay. And once again, that was a review of the Kospet HOPE. This is the Kospet HOPE LITE, identical watch, but with less RAM, 1 gigabyte rather than 3, and less storage, 16 gigabytes rather than 32. Otherwise, it's identical.